Make a puppet using AI software. And remember, when you're drawing this character, you're supposed to draw this character in a side view. For example, you can see that I firstly draw the look of the face, okay, and then this character is looking to the right hand side. And remember, you can use Illustrator to draw this character, or you can using the Photoshop to draw your character, okay. But remember that is very important when you're working on this character. You have to cut the character into pieces. For example, maybe the arms, okay, we're not just using one layer for the arms, but actually we need to break down the arms into 3 pieces, okay, and then so that we can animate in After Effects later. Okay, if you do it in After Effects, if you do it in Photoshop or you're doing in Illustrator, you also need to bear in mind to draw in this way. In this example, you can see that I will draw the character first, and then I will break down the character into pieces and put it in different layers. Okay, because it's very easy to do it in Illustrator. But if you do it in Photoshop, you have to create a new layer, and then you have to draw part of the body, and then you create another new layer and draw another part of the body, okay. So you have to watch this video carefully and see how I break down my character. So you see that I'm drawing the head, okay. Once you have finished the head, okay, and then you can draw the body. So please looking at how I divided the character into pieces, okay. Now I'm drawing the short lips of this character, okay, and then you will see that how I draw it. So you can do it in Photoshop if you like, but you have to make sure you can break down your character later, okay, so that you can animate in After Effects. For example, you can see that I will break down the hand like this. I will cut it as the elbow position, okay. So this is the first part of the arm instead of drawing the whole arms, okay. So this is the first part of the arm. So I break down it like this. You can grip or you can just leave it, it's okay. So that I draw the second part of the arm. This is the forearm. So you can see that I try to break down the character into different parts, okay, so that I can animate the joints of the character. So you can see for the FV joints, okay, for example, I'm trying to adjust the shape of the wrist, okay. You can see I try to make the joint a little bit round shape, okay, at the end, because it's very useful when we try to animate in After Effects. If you didn't draw this kind of round shape, maybe you'll find that the result didn't look very good, okay. So I break down my arms like this as well. I will cut the palm as a separate layer, okay. Although you can see that it's not yet a separate layer, but you know that in Illustrator it's very easy for me to move around the objects around the layers, okay. So I can do it later, but if you're doing in Photoshop, you have to remember to create a new layer and then draw the arm there, okay. So once I finish the arm, I try to work on the legs, okay. So I also break down my legs into 3 pieces, okay. The first one is the thigh, okay, because why I break down the character like this, because I would like to animate the character as a walk, okay. So you know that when we walk, we have to move the legs, we have to swing our arms, so that I try to break down the character like this. So this is the thigh, and then this is another part of the legs, okay. So you can see that I separate into another layer. Every joint, remember, you have to keep it very smooth, okay. So this is another part of the legs. You can retouch some of the point, okay. And then lastly, I'm going to draw the feet. Okay, of course I will draw shoes on the top of the feet. Okay, so you can see that this is the feet. And also I will draw shoes. And then I adjust the color of the shoes. I can add some detail on the shoes, okay? But I would not break down this a separate layer. For example, you can see the layers of the feet. I will have the feet, of course, and then I will have the shoes and all the detail. For example, maybe got a ribbon on the shoes. They are all at the same layers, okay? Because they will move together. They won't move separately, so I will put them all together in the same layers. Although you can see that my character have got a skirt, okay, but I still draw the whole thigh, and I'm trying to draw shots, okay, here, because just in case, because I may animate the skirt, okay, maybe the skirt will move around, so just in case, to make it look much better, I will try to draw the shot underneath. Okay, so that is the character like this. Okay, actually for the skirt, I also break down the skirt into different pieces. Okay, for the other legs, I duplicate another one, and I try to adjust the color a bit. Okay, because it's behind the other leg, so I will slightly adjust the color of the leg and make it a little bit darker. I try to move the legs side by side, because it's very easy for you to look at the part of the character. Okay, so this is another arm. Also, I will try to make it a bit darker. Okay, so you can see a little bit darker. And this is the arm. Okay, also make it a bit darker. And for the character, you can see that the neck and also the head, they are in different layers. Okay, so that maybe I got some animation that the character will nod their head. So I will break down the neck and also the head in different layers. Okay. So once you create the character, you have to bear in mind what part of the character should move. Okay, if the part of that character should move, we have to draw it in separate layer. Now I'm going to draw the mouth. Okay, actually I will draw a different look of the mouth. Okay, so that I can create some facial expression of this character. Okay, once we create the character, you have to put all this character, okay, into different layers. Okay, for example, the arm. I will put the arm like this and rename the file with the R, because R means white arm. Okay, so this is the second part of the arm. Also have to be a separate layer. You will notice that I always put the R at the end of this layer, because I will know that which is the left arm and which is the right arms. Also, you have to bear in mind when you're doing the legs. Okay, it's quite confusing if you don't rename the layers well. Okay, because once you rename the layers very well, you will find that it's more easier for you when you animate in After Effects. So I'm going to create another layer for the thigh. Okay, and the second part of the leg. Okay, so I will also put R, And this is the feet. Okay, you can see that the feet is including the shoes as well. Okay, so you can see that I make the character into different pieces. Okay, so if you draw it in Photoshop, you also bear in mind that you can break down your character like this. So it doesn't matter which software you're going to use, but the most important thing is how you break down the character. Okay, so that you can see that now I'm doing the shoes. Okay, and I'm going to do the other arms. Because it's not easy to find the arms under behind the body, so I try to make some of the layers invisible. And because I've just told you that I may animate the skirt a bit, okay, when she's walking. So I cut the skirt into pieces. So you can see that I also break down the skirt into different layers. Okay, I will name it skirt 1, skirt 2, and skirt 3 and 4, so that I can animate in After Effects later. So finally I find another arms. Okay, so I create a layer, and this is the left arm. Also the left arm, you can see that the arm is from the elbow to the wrist, and finally is the shoulder to the elbow. So I have to select it carefully because it's behind the body. So once I finish all this layering, I also need to do the head. Actually, I break down my hair into 2 parts. Okay, this is the second part. I try to break down like this because I would like to do some kind of movement like this. Okay, when she walks, her hair will move around just like the photo full. So I break down the hair into 2 pieces. Okay, this is the second pieces. Okay, this second pieces is including the head and also the face. Okay, means the skull. Okay, so I put them together using a layer. We name it, and I also need to put all the eyes element or the eyebrow elements or the mouth element into separate layers. Okay, you can see that I cut it, put it in another layer so that I can animate in After Effects. So this is the neck. You can see that the neck is a separate layer. Okay, I didn't draw the head and the neck together. I make sure they are in separate layers so that maybe the character can nod their head. Okay, finally it's about the ear. I also need to put the ear into a separate layer. Okay, so this is my ear. Done. So finally it's about the body. I try to create about because I would like to cover some of the things that I don't want to see. Okay, so I just make about there, and then I cut the body into 2 parts. Okay, you can see this is the body one, the upper part of the body, and this is the second part, the lower part of the body. Sometimes you will break down the body into 3 or 4 pieces because sometimes you would like to have some of the movement that the character will bend their body. maybe the character will bend the body forward. So maybe you need to create a body with more pieces, okay, so that you can bend the body. So once you finish it, you have to save it. You have to save as an AI. If you do it in Photoshop, you have to save as a PSD file. So that's all for the character. Remember, you have to make sure the layers are visible, okay, and then you save it.